Hey everyone, Scott Hansen here from NFL Red Zone, and you're watching the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. 1 hour of commercial-free podcasting starts now. Enjoy the show.
7 weeks in to the NFL season. We are officially halfway through the fantasy regular season in most leagues. It's pretty scary to say, but this is truly time to make your moves. Even if some minor adjustments for the playoffs or some major moves to shake things up, don't be afraid to pull the trigger on something right now. But in this episode, it's pretty much the standard at this point. We got some calmer chaos, trust or bust, trade targets, and a preview of this week's Thursday night game. So let's get right into it. And of course, some trivia with Q. Don't forget that. So let's start. Calmer chaos, Patrick Mahomes. 7.74 points, 206 yards, 6 carries for 35 yards, but he did have 2 turnovers and no touchdowns. Is this chaos for Mahomes already?
Shout out to Q for calling this. Before the season started, he said that the Chiefs aren't what they used to be.
What do you mean already? Like, it's been 7 weeks and they've just been getting worse and worse, I think.
Well, we're talking about the quarterback.
Well, yeah, he's gotten worse and worse.
Dude, he was number one. Is he still number one? He might still be number one.
No, he's number 5, I think.
Ew, he was one. I swear he was one.
This was his first week without a touchdown. Every other week
since 2019.
Yeah, every other week he's had at least 2 touchdowns. Obviously, the turnovers are a bit concerning. But he's pretty much has to do everything right now. His defense is awful, so he's trying to extend plays even longer. He's making some poor decisions when trying to extend those plays, so he doesn't look like the same easygoing quarterback he has been, like just slinging it with no effort. It looks like he's having to try a lot harder, obviously. So the injury obviously took away a little bit of time to play in that game as well. Maybe he would have threw a late game touchdown, but either way, I think you have to stay calm heading into a matchup against the Giants. Come on, it's Mahomes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, though, Sam Darnold, 2.44 points, 111 yards, and 1 interception, no touchdowns.
Top 12, baby.
Chaos.
Sam
Darnold no longer top 12. Not even pushing.
You heard it from Matt first.
He lost it. That's 3 straight games under 20 points. This offense just seems to get worse and worse every week. So the only startable player right now, aside from DJ Moore, is probably Tuba. Other than that, avoid him.
Yeah, I pretty much completely agree there. It's the Sam Darnold collapse.
Bold.
This is the same Darnold that we know.
Can you drop him?
Yeah,
100%.
All right, bet.
He's QB 15 on the year, so he was pretty solid for those first 4 weeks, but the last 3 against favorable matchups this bad is rough. Getting benched is
getting benched. He's averaged 165 yards passing this past 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Bad.
Would I be shocked if he bounces back against the Falcons secondary? No, but I'm not trusting him anywhere near my lineup until I see a little bit more consistency. So stay away for now. Let's move on to some running backs. Antonio Gibson, 7.6 points. He had 51 yards on 14 carries, and then he had 2 catches on 2 targets for 5 yards. So is this calmer chaos for Gibson? I think this is twice in a row we've talked about him on this episode. Calmer chaos.
It's a little bit chaotic for my man.
I'm going to say chaos too.
Yeah, he's always dealing with an injury now.
Yeah,
it's hard to use that against him, but at the same time, he's playing with it. So, if you're going to play with it, we have to judge you off of that. And it's not looking too good.
Yeah, it's pretty much chaos right now. I don't blame you if you have to start him again this week because running backs are pretty scarce all around, and he has a chance to fall face first in the end zone. But 42% of the snaps this week, 39% last week. Obviously, the shin's hurting him a little bit. Does get a bye in week 9, though, so maybe he can kind of heal up a little bit, be ready to go for week 10 and the rest of the season. But I don't know, man. It's chaos right now. It's really tough to start him in your lineup confidently. Mike Davis, 1 point, 4 carries for 10 yards, and he's still playing the majority of the snaps. So I don't know. They just don't even use him. 60% of the snaps, 4 carries for 10 yards. Calmer chaos.
Chaos. This is what I expected in the beginning of the season out of the Falcons offense, dude. I expected Matt Ryan to just be slinging it to Russell Gage, Calvin Ridley, Pitts, and now
Patterson.
And now Patterson. Mike Davis is over.
Yeah, he's done for.
Yeah, I don't get it at all. But I mean, I like he had 10 plus points in his first 5 weeks, got a bye week, and then comes back, plays about the same amount of snaps, and then gets 4 touches. So I wouldn't be shocked if he bounces back, but bro, can't trust him.
It's going to be hard to, especially with that defense. The Falcons can fall behind in any game, and if that's the case, he's just irrelevant.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, exactly. Do not trust Mike Davis right now. It's chaos. Alex Collins, 5.4 points. He did have 16 carries, so the volume was good, but only 35 yards, and then 1 catch on 1 target for 9 yards.
This is the Alex Collins I know. The biggest bust there ever was.
2 yards per carry. That game was like terrible as it is. It was raining, so maybe it would have helped, but he was injured going into the game. But this is typical Alex Collins.
Yeah, and Rashad Penny's back, so at best it's going to be a timeshare, and you know how we all feel about timeshares. It's never good unless you're the Browns or the Lions on occasion. But
when it's 2 bad running backs like this,
no
not
bueno.
Attractive.
I think it's absolute chaos for me. I would not trust him whatsoever.
Absolute chaos.
Snap share, Alex Collins, 39%, Penny, 36%, Travis Homer got 21%.
Jeez.
And DJ Dallas got 2%. So
they should use DJ Dallas more. I'm telling you, he's good.
Yeah, he actually showed some flashes last year, so maybe he'll get a shot eventually. But right now, I wouldn't touch any of those guys. Damien Williams, running back for the Bears, got activated from the COVID list because he was unvaccinated. It took a little bit longer. 1.8 points, 3 rushes for 5 yards, 1 catch on 1 target for 3 yards. Calm or chaos?
Ugliness.
Chaos.
Yep.
Chaos.
If it ain't chaos for a man that only played 10 snaps, then I don't know what is.
Yeah, it's chaos. Don't really need to get into this one too much. It's obvious. He's definitely droppable right now. Let's get into some wide receivers. Not too many, honestly, which is a good thing. But let's get into them. Well, let's be fair. Not too many that we don't talk about every single week, like Allen Robinson, Brandon Ayuk. We know those are chaos at this point. But starting off with Brandon Cooks, 7.1 points, 5 catches on 7 targets for 21 yards. Calm or chaos for Cooks?
I'm still staying calm too because
Tyrod
will be back.
Tyrod's coming back.
Maybe this week.
He's still seeing all these targets. By far the most targeted receiver on that team. And the offense literally goes through him. So.
Yep. Got to stay calm on Brandon Cooks right now. Like 7 targets is a good amount of volume. You really cannot complain. Obviously, the yardage is very ugly, but that's the worst yardage he's had all season. So I think he'll be fine. Yep. Tyler Lockett, again on this list, 3.2 points, 2 catches on 3 targets for 12 yards. Where did he go?
I don't get it.
Where did he go?
I don't get it. Like, why can't he just get just one of those plays, man?
They're not even doing it at this point.
They're not doing it. They're not doing anything.
They're not even trying to.
Geno Smith is terrible.
I mean, that whole game was awful for the Seahawks offense. They could not even move the ball an inch. So maybe it was a little bit more fluky, but Saints do tend to show up a little bit better. Maybe against the Jags, he can do something this week.
He has one double-digit fantasy performance since the first 2 weeks.
And it was 10, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't trust him right now. Don't start him until we see Russ back. I would
Geno Smith, that pass to DK, went for 84 yards, and for the rest of the game, he only threw for 84 more yards for the remaining 4 quarters.
Yep.
Terrible.
Remaining
that was
4.
pretty much
like the after the touchdown.
Yeah. DK Metcalf saved his day with that long touchdown. Tyler Lockett, can't start him. Put him on your bench. Julio Jones, 5.8 points, 2 catches on 4 targets for 38 yards. What is up with apparently still a top 5 wide receiver in the league, Q?
He's sleeping.
He's probably still injured. Well, he's always injured, so I guess it's not an excuse. I don't know. AJ Brown's back. He's more like a decoy he's more of a decoy now, or like make AJ Brown show that he is elite.
Yeah, he's still got to be dealing with something. He hasn't played more than 66% of the snaps since the injury. So 50% in week 3 before getting hurt, 66 in week 6, and then this week 43%. So even less. Obviously, they didn't need to throw that much towards the end of the game, but he's not on the field for half the game. Obviously, that takes away some of his value. We'll see if he can get healthier, but leave him on your bench for now. Cannot trust Julio. Last one here for calm or chaos. Odell Beckham Jr., 4.3 points, 2 catches, 6 targets for 23 yards.
Chaos.
Washed.
Throw him away.
Chaos.
Drop him.
Yeah, get him out of here. No, don't drop him. But definitely don't start him.
Yeah.
I'd easily rather drop A-Rob.
Oh,
yeah, clearly.
A-Rob's been bad.
Odell's pushing it, though.
Odell is definitely on that borderline where like people are maybe considering it at this point. If he didn't have the name Odell Beckham, he didn't catch that pass in 2013, 2014. I mean, dude, what do you do with this guy? Like he would clearly be pretty much waiver bait based on his numbers. So it's the name that's holding on. It's the targets are still somewhat there as well. He's got at least 6 targets in 4 or 5 games, which is a good thing, but it's just not amounting to that many fantasy points. So we'll see how the Browns offense progresses, but leave OBJ on your bench. Let's get into some trust or bust, starting with some quarterbacks. Tua Tagovailoa, 34.54 points. 219 yards passing, so not that many, but he did throw 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and then carried the ball for an additional 29 yards.
He's
Trust or bust.
He's on the Joe Burrow type shit, where like he's just throwing a bunch, so obviously his numbers will be all right, but he might not even be on the Dolphins in a week.
Yeah, maybe true. Not. He is on the block, but I think NFL trades are more rare, especially blockbusters like that.
Yeah, and if he is still on this team, I mean, if he can have a fairly good game coming off of this 2 very good performances against crappy teams, if he can do it against the Bills, I'll trust him.
No way. I was going to say I'll trust him for the rest of the season except for this week.
If he can do it against the Bills, then he is
Then he's
starter.
elite.
Well, anyone doing it against the Bills right now is pretty rare. So I'm not trusting him this week whatsoever, but
hell no.
His matchups coming up, he's got Houston. Baltimore's a little bit scary. The Jets, Carolina, the Giants, the Jets again. So he's got some favorable matchups coming up that you might be able to plug and play him, or at least hold him on your bench and maybe trade him away to someone who's in need of a quarterback. So
it's wild because they literally played the Dolphins the Bills like 4 weeks ago, and he played that game except he got hurt, I think, because he only had 0.5 points.
Yeah, it was like very early in the game. He played like 12% of the snaps, and then Brissett came in. So Tua, I think you can trust, is just not this week. Joe Burrow, though, as Q already hinted at, 32.64 points, 23 of 38, 416 yards, 3 touchdowns, only 1 pick. Trust or bust here for Burrow at this point?
Trust.
Big trust.
I think you got trust.
I did not ever think I'd say that. I trust Joe Burrow.
He has 1 game under 23 fantasy points this year.
Yeah, and that was week 2. So you got to trust him right now. The weapons are too elite. Jamar Chase has put him up another level. It's kind of hidden the fact that the O-line is still pretty bad. So Jamar Chase
still getting it done.
He can literally just throw it up to Jamar Chase and he'll make things happen. So,
and their upcoming schedule looks nice too. They get the Jets, the Browns, which is iffy. Then they get a bye, and then the Raiders and the Steelers.
Yeah, they got some favorable matchups. Joe Burrow should be locked in as a QB1 right now. Keep rolling them out there. Mack Jones, 26.18 points, 307 yards, 2 touchdowns, added 19 yards on the ground.
They played the Jets.
I'm not buying it.
I'm not buying it either. 1 game over 20 points, dude.
Right. He's got 4 games under 17.
He's got 2 games over 20. He's got 18 in 3 of the last 4. So maybe.
Not buying it.
Nah.
Yeah, I'm not buying it either. Busted. Bust. Mack Jones. Don't trust him. Too risky. Not enough upside in that Patriots offense. But last quarterback here, Carson Wentz, 24.3 points, only 150 yards, only passed the ball 26 times. Obviously, it was some heavy rain going on, but he did throw 2 touchdowns, ran for additional 23 yards, and got another touchdown with only 1 fumble as the turnover. And I think he threw a pick too.
I don't know what that was.
It was the ugliest pick ever.
He did.
Yeah, super ugly. But trust or bust here for Wentz.
He's not like lighting it up like a QB1, but he's at 21 plus in the last 4 weeks, and his schedule isn't getting any harder. I think he's definitely trustable. He's getting healthier, and his offense looks like they can move the ball. T.Y. Hilton's coming back this week.
Yeah.
No reason not to trust him right now.
Yeah.
Q, you got him pulled up right there? How many turnovers does he have on the year?
He has 2, and his last one was week 1.
I believe he has 4.
What? 4?
Oh, well, interceptions.
He has 4.
Interceptions,
4
2.
turnovers. And, I mean, he's protecting the ball. He's being productive with it. So, I can get behind Carson Wentz.
That wild pass last night was considered a fumble.
Yeah, I was about to say, it was right. Never mind.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Interesting.
Anyways, yeah, he's fumbled 3 times through 1 pick, so 4 turnovers, which honestly is pretty solid. I think he's the perfect bench / bye week filling quarterback right now. Like easy matchups coming up, not the highest ceiling right now. They're obviously a team that wants to run the ball first, but if you need 20 points, plug him in your lineup. He might be able to get you that in most cases. Let's keep it rolling with some running backs. So we're going to do this a little bit rapid fire because we had a lot of running backs put up some points. So let's start with Damien Harris, 25.3 points, 106 yards rushing, and 2 touchdowns with 2 catches for 7 yards. Trust or bust?
Trusting.
Trust.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this would be a trap.
Games with 100+ yards.
I thought it'd be a trap game for him because of the Jets, but he did play well.
Yeah. Trust in Damien Harris. Khalil Herbert, 18.3 points, 18 carries for 100 yards, and 5 catches on 5 targets for 33 more yards.
Trust.
Until Montgomery comes back, you could definitely plug him in every week.
Yep. That's his backfield. Like I said, Damian Williams only played 10 snaps.
Yep. I think he's completely solidified himself as the RB1 there. Trust him until Monty is back. Javonte Williams, 17.2 points, only 4 carries for 20 yards, but did have 6 catches on 7 targets for 32 yards and a touchdown.
Go ahead, Trust. Go ahead, Sean.
I
know you're hype.
I'm trusting him. I mean, I'm happy to see it, but it didn't change anything. I mean, he got the touchdown. Every other week before this, he did not get the touchdown except for week 3. So
I'm trusting him, but I'm also still trusting Melvin Gordon just as much.
They're literally splitting so close. It's insane. I think they have like very similar carry numbers, receiving numbers, amount of touches in general. So you can trust both as like low end RB2s. Kenyon Drake, 16.9 points, 14 carries for 69 yards and a touchdown, 3 catches on 3 targets as well. Trust or bust?
No,
I'm trusting. 2 weeks in a row.
As soon as Gruden left, dude.
And Josh Jacobs is hurt.
Just didn't like him or something. I don't know. But since he left, he's been going off. Is it a coincidence? We'll find out. We
shall see. Jacobs also did get banged up in this one for a little bit, a brief period of time. So
he was out for the rest of the game, wasn't he?
Yeah, then even worse. Kenyon Drake,
chest
39.
Contusion.
Yeah, I know he hurt his chest. So they're on a bye this week though. Jacobs might be able to be back for week 9. But trust Kenyon Drake for now as like a flex. Eli Mitchell, 16.7 points, 18 carries for 107 yards and a touchdown. Trust or bust here for Eli?
I'm trusting.
Trusting more than the rest of them.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm trusting too. And I think even when Jeff Wilson comes back, I think they know what they have in Eli Mitchell. I think
he's running away with the job.
Yeah.
About Hasty.
Nah.
It's the Eli Mitchell show. Trey Sermon, all those other guys, I think they're just going to mix in here and there. Michael Carter, 16.4 points, 37 rushing yards, 8 catches on 9 targets for 67 yards, but did fumble once. Trust or bust here for Carter?
I like Michael Carter.
I'm not trusting. I'm not. The 2 weeks before, the 2 weeks before. Oh, never mind. You know what? I don't even want to say it because you can't take away touchdowns. So I'm not even going to go there. The 9 targets were fluky. There's no question about that. He's not doing that every week. But
not every week, but if he's getting like
what do we? I'm
Joe Flacco, dump off king.
Okay, all right. You know what?
I still see too much of Ty Johnson to fully trust Michael Carter.
Michael Carter played 72% of the snaps, so I think I'm leaning towards trust, but still a lot of risk starting any Jets.
Shot you down.
That was the most he's played all season. Before that, it was 52. So trust-ish.
So hard to trust a Jet.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
So hard, dude. Don't do it. Don't fall for the Just don't do it.
Very risky flex / at worst RB2 play if you got to buy. Devontae Booker, 14.6 points, 51 rushing yards, touchdown, 2 catches, 15 yards. If Saquon's out again, do you trust him in your lineup?
I guess.
Yeah.
Why not?
I'm trusting.
He's all right. He gets the job done.
All right. You know what? Yeah, go ahead. Go.
Trust him.
Keep talking about Michael Carter.
Trust-ish. All right. Samaje Perine, 14.5 points, 11 carries for 52 yards, did find the end zone and 1 catch for 23 yards. Trust or bust?
I'm not trusting.
Not trusting, but he is involved.
Sean's probably trusting.
No, not trusting Samaje Perine. I think Mixon does get more of the workload back over towards him. But Perine did get a decent amount of work, so definitely something to keep an eye on. But bust for now. Kenny Gainwell, 14.1 points, 5 carries for 20 yards, 4 catches on 8 targets for 41 yards and a touchdown. He did fumble, though. Trust or bust while Sanders may be out?
Trust. Any trust for Boston Scott?
Nah.
Nah.
I mean, Gainwell was almost trustable when Sanders was healthy and playing, so he's going to be like the hottest name on waivers this week for sure.
Yeah. 100%. I think you got to trust Gainwell right now. Just because Sanders is out, I think he's going to get more of that workload. And they don't run the ball much, but he's the better receiving back too. So last one for running backs, Devonta Freeman, 12.9 points, 4 carries for 14 yards and a touchdown, added 3 catches for 25 yards. Trust or bust?
Bust.
Big time bust. Do not trust him whatsoever. He still only played 40% of the snaps. They're going into a bye. Latavius will be back. Don't trust. All right, let's continue. Go a little bit more in depth on these last few guys here. Going into some wide receivers. Kendrick Bourne, 17.8 points, 4 catches on 4 targets for 68 yards and had a passing touchdown.
It's the most fluky shit I ever heard of.
I agree. But his numbers have been all right.
Yeah, but there's way too many mouths to feed on that offense for him to get a consistent role. I can't trust.
Yeah, it's really tough to trust someone that has, I think, 9 targets over the last 3 games, averaging 3 a game. He's not playing all the snaps. He's kind of like the 3rd wide receiver there after Aguilar and Myers. So trust it-ish? Not really. I think I'd still say bust. Can't
Fine
trust
with me.
Kendrick Bourne right now. But if you want to add him speculatively, sure, go ahead. Khalif Raymond, 17.6 points, 6 catches on 8 targets, 115 yards. And then he also had a 1-yard rush. Trust or bust?
Boomer bust?
Boomer bust is better.
I think I'm trusted.
Oh.
Not like a solid player. Like I'm going to add him to my bench and be a bye week fill-in.
That's a trust, but you like watch your back when they're around.
Yeah. 4 out of the last 5 games, he's had 6 targets and he's had 9.7 or more fantasy points, including games of 17 and 19. So he's involved.
Well, more involved than St. Brown. He didn't even get a target last week.
Yeah. St. Brown disappeared.
Tyra Williams coming back?
He's still on IR. It's something to monitor if you do pick up Raymond, but he's wide receiver 40 on the season. I think he's worth a spot on your bench as a bye week fill-in wide receiver. Definitely not someone I'm trusting on a weekly basis as my flex, though.
No way.
I forgot about Tyra Williams.
Yeah, he still exists somewhere.
I think he's probably missed more games than he's played.
Yeah, he's always hurt, dude, which sucks because he actually does have some talent.
Dude, do you remember the one year he played like every position?
Yeah.
That was wild.
He was wilding out. Alan Lazard, 17 points, 5 catches on 6 targets, 60 yards, and a touchdown. Well, we know he's not going to be playing this Thursday. Is he still someone you might be able to trust for the future or not?
Worth the bench spot? I'm not trusting him. I'm not starting him or anything.
This would have been the
bye weeks. It's too he's way too risky.
Yeah, this definitely would have been the week, Q. You really hoped that he was able to play this week, but obviously being unvaccinated, close contact, unable to play this week. So he's ruled out. Lazard, though, if you still want to add him to your bench, I think he's worth a flyer. He's getting some more involvement, and he is still the second most snaps out of the wide receivers on that team. So
yeah.
Was it Terrell Pryor that played those different positions that one year?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
That's
Terrell
who
Pryor
it was.
the quarterback.
When you said
That's who it
Tyra
was.
Williams, I was like,
Why didn't you say anything, dude? I
I
just
don't
looked
know.
it up and I was like,
could
wait.
have been right.
wait.
I was like, I don't
I remember
him
Tyra
playing
Williams
all
doing a
those
lot for
positions.
the Raiders that one year. Like, he was kind of relevant. He was actually pretty nice on the Chargers too. But yeah, Terrell Pryor, that was my boy. Remember, he had a 98-yard touchdown run
Yeah.
for 15 fantasy points and then finished the day with 14 fantasy points after that. I started him. I remember. Still mad about it. All right. Russell Gage is the last wide receiver, 16.7 points, 4 catches for 67 yards on 6 targets, and found the end zone. Is Gage back? Are we trusted?
I'm trusting.
His first game back, he saw 6 targets. I mean, clearly Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts are going to get theirs, but that's a nice third option on that offense. And he's going to see a lot of like opportunity with defenses focused on the top 2 receivers. So
yeah, you like that everyone ate and he was still able to get in over 15 points.
This is what I've been expecting.
This is what we all really wanted. We really wanted to see Gage kind of solidify his role here as the wide receiver 2. Obviously, getting hurt did not help that, but yeah, I think you can trust him right now.
Matt, he already has more touchdowns than
Jacoby
Myers.
I was gonna say that. I was like,
which is
Let
insane.
me not even say it.
Yeah, Jacoby Myers, please find the end zone soon. Fantasy owners would greatly appreciate it. Let's get into some tight ends before we get into some trade targets. CJ Uzomah, 26.1 points, 3 catches on 3 targets, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. Trust or bust here for CJ.
Ain't no trust in this guy.
It's hard to trust, but like the offense is so good, and like we know Uzomah's name that's not trustworthy, but like things can change, and Burrow could be putting some relevancy to a lot of these guys' names.
I still think he's big play touchdown dependent.
Yeah, he has 4 games under 5 fantasy points. That's not trustworthy.
He's like the most boomer bust, and he has 8 targets in the last 3 weeks. He has 1 game with more than 3 targets. He's just not evolved enough as a receiver to like fully trust, but 2 big games with 26, 24 points obviously is pretty attractive, but I just don't see it being something consistent. He might have another one of those games this year. Good luck finding which game it's going to be.
Whenever Cass feels it coming.
Yeah, you just got to ask Cass. He called this game somehow. Very insane thing to call, but he called it. Robert Tonyan, Matt, your boy, 16.3 points, 4 catches on 5 targets, 63 yards, and a touchdown with Devontae Adams in the lineup. Trust or bust right now?
Bust.
Yeah,
Trust him.
I was gonna say, dude.
Trust him this week.
Though. This week, roll him out there if you're suffering from a bye week with one of your tight ends. But other than that, after this week, he's going right back down to 3 targets a game. You get lucky if he catches one of them for like 9 yards. I'm staying away from Robert Tonyan after this week.
Yeah, trust him this week. He's going to be involved. Bust rest of the week's touchdown dependent tight end. Zack Ertz, Cardinals debut, 16 points, 3 catches on 5 targets, 66 yards, and a touchdown, and his longest career touchdown as well. And also added a rush for 4 yards. Doing a lot for the Cardinals in his first game. Trust or bust here for Ertz?
Big
nice.
trust.
Big
trust.
Almost had 2 touchdowns, but he ran the wrong way on one of the routes, which he told later on that he made a mistake. But he did fumble on the goal line. Well, yeah, but 2 touchdowns, that would have been unreal.
Yeah, I think you got to trust him. He only played half the snaps, so obviously they're going to continue to get him up to speed on that offense. Zack Ertz is definitely going to be relevant. Obviously, there's going to be some games where it's AJ Green and Christian Kirk and Rondale Moore, but this offense is explosive. I think there's plenty to go around for Ertz to find some value here.
Yeah,
and I like that he saw 5 targets in his first game there.
Yeah,
it was
already shown they want to get him involved.
It was expected because Max Williams was gaining some relevancy, and when have we ever talked about him being good in fantasy? So Zack Ertz a million times better than him. He's going to definitely do better.
I'd also like to add that he wore the Eagles bracelet, and that broke me. Very sad.
Yeah,
he wore it during the game, dude. Like what? Like
I like seeing him in this opportunity though. Instead of having to split targets and whatnot with Dallas Goedert here in Philly, I like to see him back as the number 1 tight end option for a team, especially in a contender. So happy for Zack Ertz, fantasy relevant as well. Trust him. Mo Alley Cox, 11.5 points, 3 catches on 3 targets, 25 yards, and a touchdown. Trust or bust?
Bust.
I just want to hear Sean say. I want to hear Sean. I want to hear everything from Sean right now.
Low key, obviously touchdown dependent, but he's like the number one red zone target on the Colts after Jonathan Taylor. So trust if you need a bye week fill in. I can't fully trust him though. Just not enough volume, not enough like usage. But when they're in the red zone, he's got a shot at a touchdown pretty much any week. So if you need 6 to 10 points most weeks, 6 to 12, Mo Alley Cox.
At least he's not competing with like Jack Doyle. So
yeah, it's pretty much him as the best tight end option, but it's still not pretty. You want to see it like him get more involved, like get up to like 4 or 5 targets a game, maybe 6. Get some more receptions. He has no more than 3 catches in any game this year. So,
but 4 touchdowns in 4 games.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns in 4 games is nice. 2 in one of them, and 1 in one, and at least 1 in the last 2 weeks. So, red zone machine, but still touchdown dependent. If you do start him, be aware that you might get 2 catches for like 15 yards.
Well, that's the risk you run with any tight end outside the top 3.
Yeah, pretty much. So, Marley Cox, kind of trust.
Yeah,
I guess. All right, let's get into some trade targets. Buy low and sell high. Q, start us off. Who's your buy low? Who's your sell high? What do you got for us?
Buy low. Unfortunately, DJ Moore. The last 3 weeks, like the whole Panthers offense, he's had his 3 worst performances. Obviously, he can bounce back. Robbie Anderson still somehow getting like millions of targets, no production. So I don't think he's a threat. But Sam Darnold is hurting DJ Moore's value a lot. And so high, we just talked about him, Zack Ertz. He did have a good first game, but I do think he's still one of like maybe like the 4th option on the team outside of all the receivers. The offense is high powered, so he will get his, but I don't know how much you could trust it. I'm kind of reaching again. Just because of bye week, I have to go off all these, like the small amount of players I've played.
Yeah. I mean, I still think he's a pretty decent sell high, just considering like he's going to have some games where he's not going to be that involved. This offense has so many weapons. Any week, Rondale Moore can catch 5 passes for 100 yards and a touchdown, or AJ Green. Obviously, we've seen it with Christian Kirk consistently now. 2 running backs as well.
Yeah, I saw that
Ertz will have some weeks where he
disappears. I saw the Cardinals run lots of 4 wide receiver sets, so I don't know how often Ertz will be out there with all of that.
Yeah, we'll see how he continues to evolve in the offense. But if you have another tight end already, you can definitely sell high on Ertz. So you guys, what do you got?
All right, for my buy low, his name is David Montgomery. Through the first 4 weeks, he was RB11.
My guy.
Bro, I didn't think he was gonna be that good, but he's good, and he'll be back in a few weeks. If you find someone in like win now mode and they got him on IR, try and see. Sean was already talking to me about a trade. Swing him, Sean. Swing Monty right now.
Well, I don't know how low I'm selling him, but I'm getting close to.
But you
really
gotta win.
big win
You gotta
now.
win now. You gotta win now.
I can afford maybe 1 or 2 more losses, but it's getting scary.
Okay,
that is scary.
And my sell high, Chris Godwin. This past week, 11 targets, 8 receptions, 111 yards, 1 touchdown, 25 fantasy points. Currently wide receiver 13. Sounds great. That was without AB and Gronk. They'll be back. Godwin, I'm not so sure that he's...
Fade him.
I'm not so sure he's the number 2 option there. It might be AB. I don't know. Like, some people really love Godwin, and like I just think Brady likes AB more. But anyway, Godwin's wide receiver 13 right now. But before this big game, he was wide receiver 22. So like, he's, if you can get like a low end wide receiver 1 for him, or maybe you need a running back, I don't know. But whatever you can get for Chris Godwin, I'd do it because I think he's at his highest right now.
He might even be higher next week, just because Mike Evans gets Marshawn Lattimore.
I was thinking that too. I was thinking that.
Godwin might have 1 more good week. You might even sell me.
AB might be back. He might be back.
AB might be back though. Yeah, you're right. All right, Matt, what do you got for us? Buy low, sell high.
First off, just don't sleep too much on Chris Godwin.
No, I'm not saying he's bad. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I'm just saying, like, I
see what you're saying.
All right.
I understand. But
less volatility out there.
Yeah, my buy low, is someone who we haven't really talked about too much is T. Higgins. It's kind of like falling under the fantasy radar a little bit with Jamar Chase breaking out and all that, but don't let it fool you. I mean, he's only averaging 10 points since coming back from injury, but he saw 15 targets last week.
Holy crap.
And it gets overshadowed by Jamar Chase going off for 2 touchdowns, however many yards he had. But T. Higgins is going to steadily be involved in this offense, and they throw a ton. So I like T. Higgins a lot. I don't think that Jamar Chase keeps this kind of production up. I do think he will be good for the rest of the year, but I feel like T. Higgins definitely comes and gets his. And my sell high, get whatever you can for him, Robert Tonyan. Had his best game of the year this past week. I mean, you could sell him on this upcoming week even. They have no receivers. He's going to be heavily involved. So someone who has their tight end on a bye week, addition to them, get a nice little bench stash or someone you might potentially start. And hopefully you could just get that virus off your team.
Yeah, definitely. Agree with that there. I'll finish this up here. My buy low is Tyler Lockett. Now look, Tyler Lockett's value is at an all-time low. And the only way I'm buying low on Tyler Lockett is if I'm a playoff team right now. If I'm sitting at least 4-3, maybe 5-2 or 6-1 or even 7-0, and Tyler Lockett's out there on a team that's struggling a little bit, I'd go out there and throw an offer for Tyler Lockett, try and get him on my bench, and then have him for the fantasy playoffs with Russell Wilson back. He's going to have some of those games again. He's not going to completely disappear from this offense. He's still the same guy. So obviously it's a little bit risky, a little bit of a wild flex, but he might be able to win you the fantasy chip or your fantasy playoff games just by himself. So I think he's worth a buy low if you're in a winning now like situation, like your team's already set, like you're looking like you're cruising to the playoffs. Tyler Lockett might be a good target for you. But sell high, got to be Khalil Herbert right now. Again, I said him last week after his good game, and now he had another big game, 18 points against the Bucs. Montgomery will be back within the next maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So Khalil Herbert, sell him now to someone that really needs a running back this week, and you'll be like, look, I'll give you a guy that's going to get you RB2 or RB1 numbers this week, but will disappear in the next couple of weeks and get you a guy that's going to have value for the rest of the season. Sell high on Herbert if you can.
So angry I dropped him.
So angry I didn't pick him up. And I picked up Damien Williams. What was I thinking?
Oof.
Big L. But anyways, let's get into Thursday night football preview. We got a good one. Well, kind of.
It was good.
It was going to be a really good matchup if the Packers didn't go mess around to get COVID. But Packers at the Cardinals. Let's start off with the Packers, not including that horrendous week 1 by Rodgers and the Packers. He is currently quarterback 7 from weeks 2 through 7 and averaging about the same amount of fantasy points as Kyler Murray and Matt Stafford through that span. So where do you rank him this week without Adams and Lazard?
Definitely falls.
11.
Gotta fall.
Yeah, I got him at 11 as well.
Yeah, he's like borderline top 10 territory, missing those weapons.
Yeah, it's really tough to trust Aaron Rodgers right now, 100%. Like without Adams, without Lazard, going up out there with Randall Cobb as your wide receiver 1.
Yikes.
No. Bro, this is going to be a Randall Cobb game. I'm calling it right now.
Yeah, I was about to ask,
from the past.
How about the Packers pass catchers? Who steps up big? Tonyan, Cobb, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Equanimous St. Brown?
They all need to.
If it's ever going to be Cobb, it's right now.
Yeah.
Or it could just be a giant Aaron Jones game, which I wouldn't doubt.
Yep. That's what I was getting into next as well. But Tonyan and Cobb are probably the favorites to get at least a pretty decent target share. If MVS is able to play and comes off of IR, he's a dart throw flex where he might catch that one catch for 50 yards and a touchdown and fulfill your day on one play. But yeah, Aaron Jones obviously gets some benefit here as well. You got to expect an increased workload here. You think he's going to get more targets as well? Where do you rank him this week?
I have him at 6.
Yeah. I think I have him even higher than that.
Yeah, I'd probably put him – I didn't do my ranks yet, obviously, but I would probably have him around 4-ish.
And I wouldn't be 4. I wouldn't be surprised if AJ Dillon's also heavily involved.
Yeah, I agree
I
with
think
that.
AJ Dillon had negative points last week.
He did. I started him in my other league, dude.
Yeah, that was a rough one. But yeah, AJ Dillon could easily be involved in this game too. But it's going to be hard for them to run the ball. I think they're going to be down in this game against Arizona while they're in Arizona without their weapons. I think Arizona is going to be up. So it's going to be hard to run the ball. So I think Aaron Jones is just going to be involved in the passing game a lot too. Rodgers going to be dumping it off a ton because those wide receivers are not getting separation.
This is I'm trusting Tonyan this week. He's going to be and the fantasy MVP this week.
Oh, MVP.
Loki MVP.
Okay, all right.
Last time Adams was out, Tonyan did have a big game as well. So Tonyan might be all right. Definitely worth a shot out there. Cobb as well. Maybe a good flex play out there. I think both of them are the favorites to step up.
This is when you sell Tonyan.
Yeah,
Yo, he's gonna have this game.
Yeah, if someone needs a bye week tight end right now, you got a pretty juicy one.
Or you really bank on him having the game, and then you could sell him even higher. I don't know how much higher you can get, like what you'd be able to get from after one touchdown.
Yeah, you need a desperate person looking for a tight end, but there are some out there. Let's move on to the Cardinals, though. Kyler Murray continues to shine. Where did you rank him for this short week, though?
2.
Yeah, I think you still have to keep him in the top 3. We usually don't even talk about where we ranked him just because you know where he's going to be ranked. He's going to be top 3, at worst, top 5. I got him at 2 as well, Q. So you're rolling him out there. Kyler said it and forget it. James Conner and Chase Edmonds both had okay games last week. They did a little bit more than they did. Are we expecting more Edmonds this week against the Packers? More of the same? What's going on with these two?
I need you to give James Conner some respect because I was disrespecting him at the beginning of the season, but he turned me. Yeah. He still has not proved you, obviously.
He's not turning me ever.
Oh my goodness, dude.
I just can't trust him. Dude, he played 30% of the snaps last week. He had 12 points. He fell face first in the end zone on his 10 carries.
He does that like
yes, but he's done it every week.
Can't take him away.
I'm not taking him away. He's touchdown dependent. I get it. He's got, what does he have? 6 touchdowns on the year. He has 3 games without a touchdown. In those games, he does no double digits in any of those games. So he's got a 50-50 shot of falling face first in the end zone.
I think it's a little more than 50-50. He's been on a roll since week 3. And like if it's almost guaranteed a touchdown, why not start him?
Well, it is a little bit more than 50-50. 4 games with a touchdown, 3 games without. So,
and 2 of them have two touchdowns.
Yeah, 2 of them do have 2 touchdowns, but I don't know. I think this is another down week for him. I'm back on the Chase Edmonds train. Played the most percentage of his snaps he's played all season last week. Obviously didn't find the end zone or wasn't super involved in the passing game, but it's a good sign to see him back on the field and playing more than Connor. So give me Edmonds over Connor right now.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but
yeah,
Connor's finding the end zone.
Yeah,
sometimes
Connor's easily a bye week fill in or even just RB2 play it to just get 10 to 12. If he scores. DeAndre Hopkins, we know he's locked in. You got to keep rolling him out there. But is Christian Kirk someone who should be a consistent flex option right now? Has he separated from AJ Green and Rondale Moore?
I'm still taking AJ Green. Maybe just a personal thing, but
easily a personal thing.
I mean, you're gonna take Christian Kirk because that's a personal thing.
I really
love Kirk. No,
I hated Kirk because he burned me last year, but I can't deny right now Christian Kirk has one bad game, like one dud all year. He has 9.5 points at least in every single game. He's currently wide receiver 22 on the season.
Yeah, that's wild. What did he have last week with Ertz?
With Ertz last week, he had 5 targets, 4 catches, 50 yards, and a touchdown, 15 points.
Sheesh. Yeah, he's good.
And there's been games without the touchdown where he still put up decent numbers and been able to like salvage his day. So I'm trusting Christian Kirk right now as a flex. I mean, as soon as I trust him, he kills me, but I don't have him on any team, so you don't have to worry. Christian Kirk should be okay. When I start him, though, it's pain.
Yeah, you have to apologize to everyone for starting Tim Patrick, including
I apologize, everyone. I traded for Tim Patrick and started him in my flex, and he pooped the bed. So
2 targets. Come on, man.
Yeah, brutal.
On, man.
Judy's back as well, so the Tim Patrick train is trending downward.
Yeah,
GG's, Tim Patrick. We appreciate your service. Other than that, obviously we've talked about Zack Ertz a ton. Big week in his first game. Is he pushing the top 12, top 10 tight ends? Q, where did you rank him?
Number 10.
I got him at 11. So yeah, right on the cusp of being a tight end 1 this week. And if he continues to put up numbers like last week, he's going to continue to push up those rankings. But for now, he's in that tier.
Who do you have at like 8, 9, 10?
8,
spot?
Hunter Henry. 9, Robert Tonyan with this very favorable matchup.
Yeah.
And then Higbee at 10 against the Texans.
Okay. I wasn't trying to like say anything, but I was just seeing where he was.
Yeah, that's where I got him. I mean, you could easily argue over Higbee, maybe even over Henry, maybe over Tonyan if you don't like Tonyan, but I think it's going to be a big Tonyan week. I think he's around top 10 right now, 10 to 12 in that range, low end tight end 1. All right, let's pick this game, guys. Who you guys got? Packers at the Cardinals.
Cardinals.
It's got to be the Cardinals.
Now, would it be Cardinals if they were both fully healthy?
Yes.
I think I'd be thinking a little more.
I'd be thinking about it.
Yeah, I'd definitely thinking a little more.
Because they have to lose eventually. I don't think they're going to go undefeated. The Packers are one team that could definitely upset them. But yeah, I'm taking the Cardinals right now.
They're a strange undefeated team. Like, I just feel like they are beatable, though.
But
yeah,
anyone's beatable.
Yeah, they've been in some close games, some weird close games too. I mean, they got scared by the Jaguars at one point. That game was a little scary for a little bit, but they ended up winning, obviously. So, all right, that's a wrap for the Thursday Night Football preview. Q, let's get into some trivia. What do you got?
We've got 2 questions today because I think you're busy with some academics afterwards, so I kept it slight. All right, first question: who is the only team not to score any points in the first quarter this year?
Any points?
There's a team that has scored 0 points in the first quarter through 7 weeks.
I feel like I saw this on Red Zone.
0 points?
0 points.
In the first quarter.
And has only crossed the opponent's 50 once in the first quarter.
Holy shiitake, dude. That's terrible. This team sucks.
I want to say the obvious answer, but it can't be that obvious.
I don't know.
0 points.
0?
That's a little amount of points.
That's a minuscule amount.
And you even get any less than that? Unless it's golf.
No.
But that'd be a good thing.
Well, if you get, yeah, I guess so.
I'm really racking my brain right now. I gotta pick, but I'm not 100% confident.
I'm not confident in mine.
I'm guessing.
Hold on. I had the team and then I lost it.
I got a good team, I think. I think I might have it. Maybe.
May have a good team, but they're not a good team.
What did your team start with?
If they're not scoring any points.
Yeah, bad team. Bad team. Good team to guess.
Okay, I got it.
All right. It is the New York Jets.
No way. That was the obvious one. That's the one I was going to pick, and I was like, there's no way it's that obvious.
It was the Texans.
I took the Jags.
I took the Pats.
I couldn't remember if the Jags scored on that Thursday night game against the Bengals.
I hate trivia so much, dude.
We all got my own stuff. I was going to say the Lions, but I was like, DeAndre Swift busted out this week with like a 70-yard touchdown in like 5 seconds into the game. So,
and the only time they crossed, they only got over the 50 once in the first quarter was the kickoff went out of bounds, and then Michael Carter ran it over to the other side to the 47.
Bad football team. Bad team.
All right. Second question. So the Saints and the Seahawks played on Monday night.
Blech.
In 2010, the Saints beat the Seahawks, or the Seahawks, the 7-9 Seahawks beat the Saints in the playoffs. Who was the last team to make it to the playoffs with a losing record? So I was trying to go off that, and who's the last team to make it into the playoffs with a losing record?
Like the most recent one.
Yes.
Dude, that was a layup, bro.
My pen isn't working.
I had a more difficult version of this question, but I don't know.
I'll verbally give my answer.
Any verbal answer.
I'll say it before Q says it.
Live delay.
Right. Well, I got mine done. You guys, you got yours? All right. Well, Matt, I guess give your answer before Q gets it.
My answer is the Birds.
It's the Washington football team.
Come on, Matt.
I know it was someone from our division. We fucking suck.
It was the NFC least last year, bro. And the football team made it. And the only reason I remember that is because the Giants got their panties in a wad because we let the football team in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, you get it?
No, I didn't get. I don't get any of them.
What, T-Guys, what's a category that you like for trivia? I'll start asking questions that you like. Maybe, I'm going to ask some Halloween questions on Thursday with the holiday coming up.
Okay,
So
I can't wait to get them all wrong.
All right. Well, that's a wrap for the Week 7 recap. We will be back on Friday with our Week 8 preview. Make sure you check out me and T-Gods. We were on the Fantasy Futurist podcast as well. So check out that podcast with Geek Mill, Jeff. Just look up the Fantasy Futurist podcast. You'll find it. It's pretty much on a lot of platforms, I believe. So look that up. We were featured on there. Great time. But also make sure you're following us. If you're here watching us live on Twitch, throw us a sub on YouTube as well. We're on Spotify, Apple, Anchor, wherever you get your podcast. But we're also on Twitter, Super FB Podcast, Instagram, Super Fantasy Podcast, and TikTok as well at the Super Fantasy Bros. We will see you guys Friday. Peace.